On the way home from the store, I thought I saw you, white bird of my childhood, bathing in the public fountain on Market Street. Or was it only a white paper cup floating on the water's skin like a wish that would not drown, even though it had been wished away? Then this evening again I saw your face in the face of the tired man buying bread and beer at the checkout of the village market. And again, just now, in the window above the frayed green sofa, your face in the reflection of my face, as I searched the air, beginning to darken, for a bird I was certain I'd heard call out a moment before. Day of the Dead, 1994. David. Before you died, our friends strung your flotation bed with a garland of pumpkin lights in celebration of Halloween, your favorite holiday. When Tony, our roommate, came to visit, you were already a skeleton. Your face, a ghost's mask of morphine, your mind just earthbound enough to pull your pale lips into a grin as he whispered, "Boo." Negative. You are handsome. At still 23 on the brown scroll of negatives curled in the camera, bags black, next to Risk, Monopoly, Life, board games I will never play again. Next to worn-out dancing shoes I would never wear now, but refuse to throw away. So what? I will leave you with them on the floor of the closet. I won't deliver you into the light of my 40th year. Stay where you are. Little more than a child I loved when I was little more than a child. Almost forgotten in the closet's dark belly, still pregnant with what is dead. David, full blown. They say you pulled the IV from your arm, disconnected the morphine drip, tugged your street clothes over your bones, and walked from the hospital on your own in a daze. You caught the downtown bus, headed home. They say they found you curled in your bed like a child, that they had to wake you and take you back to the hospital, plug you in for your own safety. Out of your mind, they say, disoriented, as if you left the hospital for no good reason, as if you didn't know where you were going. Heavy pumpkin, bought in October, round and bright as the sinking sun, believe me. I meant to slice you a smile so terrifying you'd make the night moths shriek as they breathed you in through your teeth of fire and smoke, like an idol's sacrificial throat. But I couldn't bring myself to make a monster of you, not with all the losses we'd suffered through the fall. So I left you as you were by the garden gate and assured myself I'd made a holy gesture. Not to the leering dead, but to the autumn harvest, to the promises of rebirth and youth made by the spring and the summer heavy pumpkin. Now is winter, and the long cold night has picked up the knife I put down, and without a thought, it is carved for us both, and what's worse, it is carved from within, a rotting mask, a death head's grin. These are the last two in the series. David, I take it on my brow, I never loved you while you lived. Gifts, suppers, that you brought the quilt over my cold shoulder, that my discomfort made you wakeful as I slept on. These things notwithstanding, your kisses never made me burn. I hold it in my heart. You needed to be loved and I failed you. That you were sick and kept it hidden, that you chose to die as quietly as you lived, that you reached my soul at last through terror. I know it in the core of me. No one deserves to be as frightened as you were at the end. No one deserves to be as afraid as I still am. Even if they are liars, cowards, slow to love, even if to this day they can think solely of themselves. Right or wrong, God may brand my skin like canes, I have outlived you. The open umbrella. The open umbrella that threw off its owner in a fit of envy as a crow flashed overhead now lingers on the curb. Cars and trucks pass by, trailed by the soft, beckoning hands of the wind. Who can blame the open umbrella for refusing a lift from these strangers, however welcoming? But how long is too long to wait for forgiveness from the one who held you in the rain? Night comes. The umbrella's ribs blacken beneath the starless sky. Concealed from the moon, the umbrella's heart beats blacker still. The open umbrella turns into a lamp of darkness. I promise you it'll get better. It's not going to get a lot better, but it's going to get better. And then came Ben, my husband, who's got a TARDIS phone over there. Then came Ben, and even the worst parts of life were filtered through love, and that is an amazing filter. It really is. It's like putting some kind of rosy tone on the worst things in your life. So, everyone here went through August? You stayed in Wilmington through August? Yeah? Okay, so this is called A Rumor of Fire, and it's about August in Wilmington and a few other things. Ragged August, a wounded month, slinks under the house, panting in the crawl space. Dogwoods burn red 2 months early. Birds roost in midday, feverish and thin as thorns. Lawns singed to thatch, brittle as old doll hair. A rumor of fire could reduce the neighborhood to ash. I draw the blinds against the struggle. The air conditioner labors in darkness. The house is small. 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, a narrow living room. All we could afford. 6 years ago we signed off in the cool of spring, the front yard masked with pines, billowed by 1 live oak, foam white camellias cresting the blue door. The walls seemed conceptual, as if longing could sail us beyond them into the garden. Now I lie on the sofa, the low ceiling trapping my breath like a mask, and realize I have never lived in a house I have loved. I want to wake up in a soft bed, in a room so vast the walls are imagined. Windows flung wide as the horizon, rain falling in the green world. And you, my love, I want you to emerge like a seedling from the furrowed sheets, dazzled and new, watching for the rising storm within. This is a poem I promise I'd never read in public. So never get me to promise anything. Apparently. I really never intended to read this in public, but someone wrote to me after the book was published and said that it helped them. And it's something that not a lot of people talk about, that I experienced. That's complicated. It's called Lost Boy. Sometimes sex is like grasping the velvet trunks of sumac. Hearing the crunch of that year's weeds, that fall's skeletons beneath my tender knees, and it returns me to 13. Slender ribs of childhood protruding from the memory mulch of maple twigs, cicada skins, pine straw puncturing like needles, reminding me of the morning the stranger took what I didn't give. Sometimes these bones of youth run me through when you do, and I shudder in the sheets, somehow still a wounded thing, clawing remembered roots of sumac trees, reaching for a safe and quiet place, urged on by the boy I was forced to shed. And yet, there is so much in what you're doing now I do need. Something even back then, when he first tore down my pants and I scratched and clawed into the mix of earth and leaves and badger tracks, so much now in the way you hold me, I believe I asked for then. If I could, half of me would go back to the woods, and the man I am now would kill the stranger where he stands. His cock still hard as he nervously wipes the boy's blood from his hands onto his red t-shirt before fastening his pants without a word for the boy in the leaves who wants to die. And yet, that half of me remains here with you, my love. Almost happy to leave the boy where he lies, almost grateful for the ecstasy of what you're doing. And since I promised you it would get better, here's it gets better. For me, getting better is still referencing the dead, so, you know. You're not gonna get, well, you will get puppies from me, but it won't be happy. Anyway, this is a poem I wrote for my amazing husband, Ben. And it was about a moment that we live in a really poor neighborhood. And there's a graveyard nearby on Shipyard Boulevard called Green Lawn Cemetery. And whenever there's a horrible storm, Shipyard changes quite a bit. And one day we were driving, I don't even remember where we were going, but he said the most amazing thing. And I thought, wow, if I didn't know why I love you, I know again why I love you. So this is called After the Storm. After the storm, graveyard flowers litter Shipyard Boulevard. Petals of plastic and silk, stems of stiff wire. As we pass over the wind's wreckage, you stare through the passenger window and say, sad, I wonder who picks them all up. I would answer the obvious. Inmates on work detail, a road crew, the caretakers, but you're not asking about jobs and duties. I know you. You're wondering who these men are inside. Whether it grieves them to gather these last tattered bits of color into black bags and toss them away as if they hadn't been selected by fingers opened by loss. As if they weren't mementos of what finally, when the last loved one visits, and we are never tended to again, becomes of us all. For you, I want to be the man who knows which garish bouquet goes where, who breaks in the middle of the street, door flung wide, stops traffic, then peels each false leaf from the asphalt, gathers them all until the last fake flower is whole again and tucked respectively back into the smooth green blanket we so carefully draw over the dead. Or better yet, for you, I want to be the kind of man who sees this sad morning as the evidence of a blossoming, or the fallen confetti of a parade, as if the dead woke during the storm, threw back the covers, and danced in flowers and thunder until the sun came up. Thank you. Have some wine and brownies. I will be signing books. If you would like to buy a book, they are for sale, and I will sign them. And if you have any questions, I'll stay right here and sign books.
What you do is stand here and sign the book.
Thank you so much. I do.